Good morning. Oh, it's a better morning than that. Come on, good morning. What an exciting day, isn't it? We say, first of all, welcome home to the Urban League, to the place where they belong. They belong in Harlem, New York, and that's where they are. It is a coming home, and it is a dream come true. We talked about this for many, many years. It was an ambitious project. It was hard. There was a lot of hurdles. But we persevered and we got it done. I want to thank all the people who worked so long and so hard to make this happen. It's only fitting that we're here today, the week where we're going to celebrate Juneteenth finally. Isn't it beautiful? It all comes around. The National Urban League is going to form an empowerment center here in Harlem. This was the original empowerment zone, if you remember. Bill Clinton started a program called Empowerment Zones, which were really supposed to do something to focus on poverty and urban poverty. Congressman Charles Rangel was Ways and Means. Give him a round of applause. I was the HUD secretary at the time, and HUD was going to administer the Empowerment Zone program. There was supposed to be 4 across the country. And I sat there with President Clinton, Congressman Rangel, and myself talking about the Empowerment Zone program. And Congressman Rangel kept talking about the 3 empowerment zones. And I kept saying, I know, but there are 4 empowerment zones. And Congressman Rangel said, well, there's Harlem and 3 others. Let's just put it that way. And Harlem became an empowerment zone, and President Clinton moved into the empowerment zone, so it all comes around. Let's thank all the people who made this possible. Tim Murphy, thank you, Mr. Chairman, very much. Goldman Sachs, Target, Wells Fargo, BRP, Charles Hamilton, thank you all. It's a pleasure to be with Reverend Sharpton, a powerful voice for justice, and a powerful voice, not only a powerful voice, but a powerful voice that gets results. And that's what it is all about, making change, making progress, not talking for the sake of talking. That's easy, but talking for the sake of getting things done, and that's Reverend Sharpton, and that's why we're so blessed to have him here in New York. We have Hazel Dukes, the legendary Hazel Dukes, head of the NAACP. I refer to Hazel Dukes as my second mother. She raised me. I can tell you this, she believes in spare the rod, spoil the child, Hazel Dukes. She believes in that. But working with Reverend Sharpton and Hazel Dukes and Reverend Daughtry, who's here because we stand on the shoulder of giants. What New York says is when you see a wrong, you right the wrong. You right the wrong. We had wrongs in New York. We have wrongs in New York. But when we see a wrong, we do something about it. When we saw what happened with police misconduct and Eric Garner, we did something about it. We passed the first special prosecutor bill in the United States, the first chokehold bill in the United States, and this nation must pass real reform after the George Floyd killing, not just words, but action. And it has to do it now. And of course, Mark Morial. Mark Morial. Now, I've known Mark a lot of years. And I was the HUD secretary. We did a lot of work. I spent a lot of time with Mark. That's where I got my southern accent, is hanging out with Mark, hanging out in New Orleans. New Orleans. How'd I do? New Orleans. New Orleans. New Orleans. New Orleans. One word, New Orleans. Not that 2-word, New Orleans. Yeah, New Orleans. Oh, he loved New Orleans. He'd take you down there. He did all sorts of great work in New Orleans. And he'd take me all around. He'd show me all the great parts of the city and all the great cuisine of the city and the gumbo and the po' boys. And he loved his jambalaya. Oh, he was so proud of his jambalaya. I didn't want to tell him at the time. I don't think jambalaya is from New Orleans. I think it's an Italian dish. I think jambalaya is really calamari in marinara sauce and you throw in a few shrimp. That's what I think jambalaya is. But I don't want to start any trouble. But that's what I consider it. But Mark did a phenomenal job in New Orleans. And he's done a phenomenal job all across the nation. And he's going to do a great, great job here in New York. Let's give him a round of applause. Now, Mark told the story in a politic way about how he was considering Atlanta and New Orleans and Washington and knocked on the door of New York. And he was very politic when he said, well, you know, other places are interested in us coming. The New York translation of other places are interested means you're going to have to pay up if you want the Urban League to come to New York. That was the translation from New Orleans to New York, you know. So I heard that translation from New Orleans to New York. Yeah, it's Queen speak. There's always a bottom line. And New York was proud to partner in this project and proud to have contributed over $100 million to make this a reality. And I want to thank Rudy McDaniel and Eric Girdler and Ruth Ann Wisnauskas who are here. Let's give them a round of applause. And this is a home run for two reasons. Number one, this project is going to revitalize Harlem. It is smart, it is right, it is mixed use. It brings a museum, it brings affordable housing, it brings retail, it brings commercial space. In and of itself, it is going to revitalize Harlem. And the champion on the state side, who made it a reality, because one thing to say, we'll contribute $100 million. You then have to get it done. And the person who spearheaded it through New York State's legislature, Assemblymember Inez Dickens. Let's give her a round of applause. But it is going to revitalize the entire area. It is going to be a great engine of economic recovery. That's the first home run. The second home run is that the Urban League brings tremendous expertise to this city. A sophistication in urban development that this city desperately, desperately needs. People are now talking about reopening post-COVID. I'm the chairman of the National Governors Association. All the governors talking about how do we reopen, how do we reopen? I say we're not interested in reopening in New York. Reopen suggests you go back to where you were. You go back to where you were the day before COVID. We're going to reopen. We're going to go back to the day before we closed, the day before COVID. No, we're not going to reopen because we're not going backwards. Life is not about going backwards. Life is about going forward. And the truth is we had real problems in this city the day before COVID started. And this has to be a moment to come to terms with that and be honest and say, we don't want to reopen, we want to reimagine New York. We want to remember those issues and we want to address those issues in this special moment in time where people understand there is work to do. And we have forged unity to do that work. The truth is, the day before COVID, our public housing in this city was a disgrace. The truth is, the day before COVID, discrimination was alive and well in this city. The truth is, we had two education systems, one for the rich and we had one for the poor. And we didn't have enough affordable housing. And we had a dysfunctional relationship between the police department and the community. We're not going back to that. We're going to reimagine a New York that is better than that. Yesterday, New York hit a great milestone. We reopened post-COVID. We reopened post-COVID. New Yorkers went from the highest infection rate on the globe with COVID to the lowest positivity rate in the United States of America. Think about that. If you can deal with that epidemic, you can deal with any epidemic. And we have another epidemic. Last week, 26 people died from COVID. Last week, 36 people were shot by gun violence. If we can beat COVID, we can beat gun violence. And this is the city to do it, and this is the neighborhood to do it, and this is the organization to do it. Let's show how to make New York the shining city of equality and opportunity, and let's take that lesson all across the nation. That's what the National Urban League is going to do for us. Thank you, and God bless you.